You know, some of some of his associates, I still want to strangle them.
Big used to always clown him.
Voletta Wallace, Biggie's mother, has revealed her son's genuine emotions for Diddy, and they are not positive. Voletta stated to The Breakfast Club that she constantly felt like murdering Biggie's associates.
You know, some of some of his associates, I still want to strangle them.
To add to this, Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, stated that Biggie despised Diddy. Gene recently stated in an interview that Biggie and Diddy were not as close as Diddy portrays, and that Biggie was aware that Diddy was looting him.
Puff had robbed Big, and Big was robbing Puff.
Gene also revealed that Biggie intended to reclaim his publication rights from Diddy.
Puff was robbing him and had robbed him out of his publishing and his marketing.
Gene also alleged that the late rapper was negotiating a lucrative deal worth more than $60 million with Bad Boy. Deal claimed to have seen Biggie's Bad Boy contract while watching Diddy's briefcase during a flight. It detailed Big's revenues in $250,000 increments but left publishing money in Puff's custody. When he inquired about it, Biggie allegedly told him about his new contract and all the money he'd make.
Yeah, Big had a contract, and what happened was when me and Puff rode on the plane coming back down there, Puff gave me his briefcase and everything like that. Like, yo, here, like me carry this shit. Say, all right, motherfucker, I got 5 hours, 6 hours on this thing. Let me see what's in the briefcase. And then at the end of the contract, I was skimming through it. At the end of the contract said, we're gonna discuss about you getting your publishing and your marketing back. And I think the contract was for so many years for like 62 million, it comes out to like $62 million.
Fans have reacted to this, with one fan writing, "Everybody knew Big would leave. Big outgrew Puff. Puff gave Big his break, but Puff could never be on a level without Big. If Puff couldn't have Big, nobody can." Another fan added, "Remember when Big's daughter said she wasn't invited to the Bad Boy reunion tour? Says a lot about Diddy Puff." A third fan wrote, "I always thought it was weird that Biggie started his label outside of Bad Boy, and whenever he spoke of Puff, it was always about business, not personal like the way he spoke of other people like Jay-Z." Another fan added, "Biggie and Diddy definitely weren't as close as everybody thought. Puffy never shows up at any event or tribute related to Biggie or anything." Gene claimed in a separate interview that Diddy lied to Biggie's mother about not knowing him because he knew Gene would expose him and explain what transpired the night Biggie died.
Mama my name, but he told her he didn't know me. Reason he probably did that was because he knew that I was going to tell Ms. Wallace all what happened.
Many have chastised Diddy for appearing to worry about Biggie, with one fan stating, "What's sick is that Puff still, to this day, acts like he was a good person too. Big, I really feel like he set this man up. The same man who helped him get to where he is now. Trust nobody." Another fan added, "I find it interesting that Puffy isn't addressing anything Gene is saying. It's been years now. Gene is speaking facts." A third fan wrote, "I remember after Biggie died, Ms. Wallace didn't want Diddy to exploit her son anymore. Because back then, Diddy was faithfully talking about how much he missed Big and was involved in everything regarding Big. That includes the celebrations and the mentions on social media. Just like how Diddy was doing Kim." And Gene is right, all of it is propaganda. And I think Ms. Wallace didn't want her son's legacy to be exploited like that anymore. I also think that is why Diddy barely mentions why he didn't go to Big's 50th celebration in New York. Voletta Wallace has stated that she believes Diddy used her kid for personal gain. Voletta writes in her book, "Biggie, I'm glad my son does not have to witness that the very people he thought he could ride and die with wouldn't think twice about using his mother. I am glad that he's not here to see how they have used his image and his name. I believe Sean loved my son after he was dead. I used to tell Christopher all the time not to trust Sean." Voletta also revealed how much money he received when he signed with the label. The truth is, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and mentor for about $25,000. "That's the amount Puffy lured my son with. That was a lot of money for Christopher back then as a 19-year-old. He had never seen that much at one time in his life," Wallace wrote. "It was enough money to make my son believe Puffy was ready to do anything for him. It was enough to buy blind love and loyalty." Biggie's mother has also decried how the investigation into her son's murder has been handled over the years, and with reason. Voletta told the Daily Mail that she suffers every day knowing she will never see her son again and that his attacker is still free. The hip-hop matriarch said that she and LAPD police investigating the crime know who killed her son, but a conspiracy prevents the case from ever being solved. She said, "I have a very good idea who murdered Christopher, and I genuinely believe that the LAPD know exactly who did it too." The hurting mother added, "They've done their investigation, but they just refuse to move forward. I don't know why they haven't arrested who was involved. It seems to me that it's one giant conspiracy and someone is definitely being protected somewhere down the line. There's no closure for me until that murderer is behind bars and sentenced." There has been much conjecture about Diddy's participation in Biggie's death. Several others believe Diddy, rather than Biggie, was the intended target. Gene ignited this notion when he claimed to have information that Diddy was the true target on the night Biggie was killed. According to Deal, Diddy planned to hit on him after a gathering at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, where Biggie was due to play. Deal claims that Diddy's security team received information about the hit and relocated Diddy to a hotel, leaving Biggie in the museum.
And I didn't tell him not to go nowhere that night. I said, Puff, I got some intel. The guys are coming to kill us tonight at the museum party. He said, Gene, I don't want to hear that shit.
The hitman mistook Biggie for Diddy and fired on his SUV as it drove away from the museum. Deal's assertions are not new. In fact, Jaguar Wright, a neo-soul musician and former member of The Roots, has also claimed Diddy was involved in the rapper's death. Wright claimed in a recent interview with the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast that Diddy played a hand in Biggie's death and that she learned about it from persons close to the issue. Diddy had a reason for wishing Biggie dead, according to Jaguar, since he considered the rapper a threat to his own career in the music industry. Jaguar also discussed how Diddy benefited from Biggie's death.
Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive. People keep forgetting he hadn't turned 25 yet. He was still 24 when he died. It's been over 25 years. Clearly, a Biggie Smalls verse is very valuable. So then what the fuck happened to the commission? What happened to that album? It was recorded. It was being mixed and mastered upon Biggie's death. It was supposed to have came out that summer after Biggie's album because Biggie's album was slated. He died a week and a half before his album came out. Then the commission was supposed to come out, and that was supposed to be his exit from Bad Boy and then starting his own company. Puffy has been making money on that boy's name longer than he lived. It supported all of Bad Boy.
That's real, yo. The more money you make, the more problems you get.
The Notorious B.I.G. was one of hip-hop's most recognizable characters. His unexpected death on March 9, 1997 shocked the music business and beyond, and his death remains one of the most contentious and puzzling cases in contemporary history. Biggie was born in 1972 in Brooklyn, New York, and soon rose to prominence in the city's underground rap scene. In 1992, he signed with Sean P. Diddy co-owns Bad Boy Records and released his debut album, Ready to Die, in 1994. The album was a critical and financial triumph, establishing Biggie as one of his generation's most accomplished and influential rappers. Despite his success, Biggie's life was marred by scandal and violence. He was embroiled in a battle with rapper Tupac Shakur, who was also assassinated in 1996. Many thought the two deaths were linked and the consequence of an ongoing conflict between competing hip-hop groups on the East and West Coasts. Biggie attended a Vibe magazine party in Los Angeles on the night of his murder. He was traveling in the front seat of a GMC Suburban after leaving the party when a vehicle drew up to him and began the fire. Biggie was shot 4 times, one fatally in the chest. He was airlifted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where he died less than an hour later. To this day, the circumstances behind Biggie's death are unknown. Despite a thorough investigation and several clues, the case remained unsolved for nearly a decade. Numerous ideas and stories have persisted over the years, including claims of police corruption and gang involvement. Some even feel that Biggie's death was planned by persons in the music industry. Biggie's legacy only got stronger in the years since his death. He rose to become one of hip-hop's most recognized and influential musicians, and his music continues to inspire a new generation of artists. But the sadness of his death never went away for his family, friends, and followers. Voletta Wallace became an advocate for justice and worked relentlessly to find out who killed her son. She publicly urged anyone with information on the case to come forward and cooperate with investigators. Voletta took on the task of managing her son's fortune, protecting his legacy, and pursuing justice for her son. She established the Christopher Wallace Memorial Fund, which helps youngsters in Brooklyn, where her son grew up. Regardless of the outcome of the case, Biggie's influence on the music industry and popular culture is unquestionable. He opened the road for other artists who came after him, and his influence can be found in the work of everyone from Jay-Z to Kendrick Lamar. And that's it from us today. Until next time, bye.